Hello and welcome back to our Chronological Bible in Your Reading Plan. Today we're on day 193 and we are back at Amos with chapters 6 through 9. Amos chapter 6. Woe to those at ease in Zion and those trusting in Mount Shomeron, the distinguished ones among the chief of the nations, to whom the house of Israel comes. Pass over the Kalna and see, and from there go to Hamath the great. Then go down to Gath of the Pelishtites. Are you better than these reigns, or is their border greater than your border? You who are putting off the day of evil, yet bring near the seat of violence, who are lying on beds of ivory, and are stretched out on your couches, and are eating lambs from the flock and calves from the midst of the stall, who sing idly to the sound of the harp, having composed songs for themselves like David, who are drinking wine from bowls, and anoint with the finest ointments, yet they have not grieved over the breach of Joseph. Therefore they shall now go into exile with the first of the exiles, and the feasting of the stretched out ones shall cease. The Adon, which means the Master, Yahuwah, has sworn by himself. Yahuwah Elohim of hosts declares, I am loathing the pride of Jacob, and I have hated his palaces. Therefore I shall deliver up the city and all that is in it. And it shall be that if 10 men remain in one house, they shall die. And if a relative or his undertaker brings the remains out of the house, he shall say to one inside the house, Is anyone with you? And he says, No. Then he shall say, Hush, for we have not remembered the name of Yahuwah. For look, Yahuwah is commanding, and he shall smite the great house with breaches, and the little house with clefts. Do horses run on a rock? Does one plow it with oxen? For you have turned right ruling into poison, and the fruit of righteousness into wormwood. You who are rejoicing over a matter of naught, who say, Have we not taken horns for ourselves by our own strength? For look, I am raising up a nation against you, O house of Israel, declares Yahuwah, Elohim of hosts, and they shall oppress you from the entrance of Hamath to the Wadi Arabah. Chapter 7. This is what the Adon Yahuwah showed me. And see, he was forming locust swarms at the beginning of the late crop. And see, it was the late crop after the mowings of the sovereign. And it came to be, when they had finished eating the grass of the land, that I said, O Adonai, which means my master, O Adonai Yahuwah, forgive, I pray. How does Jacob survive, for he is small? Yahuwah relented concerning this. It shall not be, said Yahuwah. This is what the Adon Yahuwah showed me. And see, the Adon Yahuwah was calling to contend by fire, and to consume the great deep and devour the portion. And I said, O Adonai Yahuwah, please stop. How does Jacob survive, for he is small? Yahuwah relented concerning this. This shall not be either, said the Adon Yahuwah. This is what he showed me. And see, Yahuwah stood on a wall made with a plumb line in his hand. And Yahuwah said to me, Amos, what do you see? And I said, A plumb line. And Yahuwah said, See, I am putting a plumb line in the midst of my people Yisrael. No longer do I pardon them. And the high places of Yitzchak shall be laid waste, and the Mikdashim of Yisrael shall be destroyed. I'm going to look up what that word means. Mikdashim. Set apart places, or holy places. And I shall rise with the sword against the house of Jeroboam. Then Amaziah the Kohen, which means the priest, of Bethel sent to Jeroboam, sovereign of Israel, saying, Amos has conspired against you in the midst of the house of Israel. The land is not able to endure all his words. For this is what Amos said. Jeroboam shall die by the sword, and Israel certainly be exiled from their own land. And Amaziah said to Amos, Go, you seer, flee to the land of Yehudah, and eat bread and nabah there, which means prophesy there. But do not nabah any more at Bethel, for it is the sovereign's mikdash, and it is the house of the rain. And Amos answered and said to Amaziah, I am not a nabi, again a prophet, nor am I a son of a nabi, for I am a herdsman and a grower of sycamore figs. But Yahuwah took me from behind the flock, and Yahuwah said to me, Go, nabah to my people Yisrael. And now hear the word of Yahuwah. You are saying, do not nabba against Yisrael, and do not preach against the house of Yitzchak. Therefore thus said Yahuwah, your wife shall become a whore in the city, and your sons and daughters fall by the sword, and your land be divided by a measuring line, and you die in a defiled land, and Yisrael shall certainly be exiled from its land. Chapter 8. This is what the Adon Yahuwah showed me. And see a basket of summer fruit. And he said, Amos, what do you see? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. And Yahuwah said to me, the end has come upon my people Yisrael. No longer do I pardon them. And the songs of the Hakal, which I believe is the tabernacle? Mm-hmm. Okay. Shall be wailing in that. Temple. The temple. Yeah. Hakal is temple. Okay. Hold on. I always get this mixed up. Hakal and Mikdash. I mix those two up. Let's see real quick. Yep, Hakal is temple and Mikdash is sanctuary. Okay. Okay. And the songs of the Hakal shall be wailing in that day, declares the Adon Yahuwah. Many dead bodies everywhere, thrown into any place. Hush. Hear this, you who are swallowing up the needy, to do away with the poor of the land, saying, when does the new moon pass so that we sell grain? And the Shabbath so that we trade our wheat, to make the ephah small and the shekel large, and to falsify the scales by deceit, to buy the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals, and sell the chaff of the wheat. Yahuwah has sworn by the excellency of Jacob, I shall never forget any of their works. Shall the land not tremble for this, and everyone mourn who dwells in it? And all of it shall swell like the river, heave and subside like the river of Mitzrayim, which is river of Egypt. And it shall be in that day, declares the Adon Yahuwah, that I shall cause the sun to go down at noon, and shall darken the earth on a day of brightness, and shall turn your festivals into mourning, and all your songs into lamentation, and bring sackcloth on all loins, and baldness on every head, and shall make it like mourning for an only son, and its end like a day of bitterness. See, days are coming, declares the Adon Yahuwah, that I shall send a hunger in the land, not a hunger for bread, nor a thirst for water, but for hearing the words of Yahuwah. And they shall wander from sea to sea, from north to east. They shall diligently search, seeking the word of Yahuwah, but they shall not find it. In that day the pretty maidens and strong young men shall faint from thirst. Those swearing by the guilt of Shomeron, who say, as your mighty one lives, O Dan, and as the way of Beersheba lives, and they shall fall and never rise again. And Amos chapter 9, the last chapter of Amos. I saw Yahuwah standing by the altar, and he said, smite the column head so that the thresholds shake, and break them off by the head, all of them, and the last of them I slay with the sword. Not one of them fleeing gets away, and not one fugitive of them escapes. If they dig into the grave, from there my hand takes them. And if they climb up to the Shamayim, which means to the heavens, from there I bring them down. And if they hide themselves on top of Carmel, from there I shall search and take them. And if they hide from before my eyes at the bottom of the sea, from there I shall command the serpent, and it shall bite them. And if they go into captivity before their enemies, from there I shall command the sword, and it shall slay them. And I shall lay my eyes on them for evil and not for good. And the Adon Yahuwah of hosts is he who touches the earth so that it melts, and all who dwell in it mourn, and all of it come up like the river, and subside like the river of Mitzrayim, who is building his upper room in the Shamayim, and has founded his firmament on the earth, who is calling for the waters of the sea, and pours them out on the face of the earth. Yahuwah is his name. Are you not like the people of Cush to me, O children of Yisrael, declares Yahuwah? Did I not bring up Yisrael from the land of Mitzrayim, and the Pelishtites from Caphdor, and Aram from Kir? Look, the eyes of the Adon Yahuwah are on the sinful rain, and I shall destroy it from the face of the earth, except that I do not completely destroy the house of Jacob, declares Yahuwah. For look, I am commanding, and I shall sift the house of Yisrael among all the Gentiles, as one sifts with a sieve, yet not a grain falls to the ground. All the sinners of my people are going to die by the sword, and those who are saying, evil does not overtake us nor meet us. In that day I shall raise up the booth of David which has fallen down, and I shall repair its breaches and raise up its ruins. And I shall build it as in the days of old, so that they possess the remnant of Edom, and all the Gentiles on whom my name is called, declares Yahuwah who does this. Look, the days are coming, declares Yahuwah, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him who sows seed. And the mountains shall drip new wine, and all the hills melt. And I shall turn back the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink wine from them, and shall make gardens and eat their fruit. And I shall plant them on their own land, and not uproot them any more from their own land I have given them, said Yahuwah your Elohim. That concludes the book of Amos and our reading for today. As always, thank you for joining, and I hope you've been reading along, and I encourage you to read for yourself. And peace and blessings and love to you. We will see you in the next one.